Okay. Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome to our online class. So today we are going to be finishing up topic 1 and we are going to go into structure of a speech outline. Okay, so I hope you guys have your module with you. Okay, first, okay. So an outline is a way to organize your idea logically and clearly. So outline adalah sejenis rangka. So rangka untuk kamu punya speech tujuannya adalah untuk organize, untuk menyusun idea-idea kamu secara logically dan secara clearly supaya dia lebih jelas. Okay, the basic template for an outline is first you must have introduction, body and also conclusion. So introduction adalah pendahuluan, body adalah isi kamu and conclusion adalah penutup. Okay, a speech outline can be compared to a burger. So for example, macam dalam gambar ni. Okay, so the opening and also the closing, pendahuluan dan penutup are the bun, holding the filling or the body together. So you can imagine the bun is the pendahuluan and the conclusion. Tapi isinya adalah kamu punya burger. So, you can make either a simple burger with just one filling, macam yang dalam gambar ni, or you could also make something even fancier. So, you could add a lot more fillings. For example, you can have lettuce or tomato, cheese, etc. Okay, so what you include in your body is what is going to determine whether your speech is a good speech or a bad speech. Okay, so if your body is interesting, then your burger would also be interesting. Okay, but it also shows that when you're eating a burger, you wouldn't want to eat a burger with just the filling. You also want to have the bun. Okay, so that's why you need an opening and closing, and you also need the burger or the body. Okay, next we're going to look into speech title. Okay, speech title atau tajuk ucapan kamu, your title is very important. To choose a good title, first you have to choose something that is suggestive. Suggestive maksudnya when people see your title, they can have a basic idea of what your speech is going to be like. So your title must indicate the subject of your speech. So bila orang tengok, you have to indicate atau untuk menunjukkan tajuk kamu ni tentang apa. Okay, but not reveal it entirely. Okay, so kamu tak nak bagi macam spoiler mengenai kamu punya topik. Okay, people must be intrigued by suggestions of your topic, but leave something to their imagination. So they want to find out at the end of the speech what is something that they are going to find out. Okay, next you have to keep it short and attractive. So your title should be brief and eye-catching. So it has to be short. Kamu tak boleh buat yang something that is too long. Okay, when something is too long, people won't actually read it. So very few people will actually read a very long title. And the third one is you have to be creative and you have to stand out. So a good speech title should be original. So it has to be something that people are not used to hearing. And then you can also include, for example, a quotation, a question, a paradoxical statement, or a shocking statement. A quotation is, for example, you include quotes. Quotes, for example, from Nelson Mandela, something that you know. Okay. You could also include a question. So, for example, you can say, "What I like to do in my free time?" Question mark. Okay. Or you could also include a paradoxical statement. Paradoxical statement, something that is a paradox yang against logically. Okay, so you can Google it to find out any paradox that you know, or you can also use a shocking statement. A shocking statement is something yang mengejutkan. So statistics or something yang membuatkan orang terkejut. Okay, so whatever speech title that you choose, it must serve the purpose of attracting attention. You want to get people attention. Okay, so next we are going to look into some examples. So for example, a good brief or a very good short title is, for example, this one. I started. So your speech could be about your problems with stuttering. So your title is just I started. Okay, so it's short and it's eye-catching. You could also include quotations, for example. So that's why the lady is a champ. It could be about a very good athlete, but you're not giving any hints about who she is yet. You're just talking about someone who is a champion. And then you could also say butterflies, deadly creatures. So the word deadly here is shocking because you're talking about death. So people want to find out what is a creature that is causing death. But this is a paradox. Why? Because usually when people think of butterflies, people think about something that is beautiful and cute. People don't think about death. So this is why it's a paradox. So you use words like death and something cute like butterflies. And then next is a question. Question, for example, is prison necessary? Question mark. So it makes your audience wonder, is it necessary? Okay, next, you could also say something like, if I had a year to do what I want, how to ruin a date in the first minute? This is also a question. Nuclear power is dangerous stuff. Okay, the word dangerous here is shocking. Okay, so these are some examples of good speech titles. Next, we are going to look into the most important thing. Okay, the second most important thing is attention getter. Attention getter is something that gets the attention of your audience. So, something yang boleh menarik perhatian audience kamu. So, attention getter is a device, adalah sejenis device that a speaker use at the beginning of a speech to capture an audience interest and make them interested in the speech topic. Okay. So it is a device. So there's actually a list of attention getter that you can use, you can include in your speech. The purpose of attention getter adalah bila kamu nak mula speech kamu, you want people to actually be attracted to your speech. So what are some examples of attention getter? The first one is humor. Humor is lawak jenaka, something yang melucukan. Okay. So first. So for example, you can use jokes. You can also include funny true stories like anecdotes. So if you have any stories about your life or your something that you've heard, you've watched, something funny, you can also share that with your audience. Imitation. This is when you imitate certain characters. Maybe you know like a certain politician or celebrities or athlete. So before you start your speech, you can actually imitate. So people can guess who this person is. So that is a way for you to actually get to the attention of your audience. Next, you could also do references. References adalah merujukan. So bila kamu merujuk kepada sesuatu. So references will actually allow audience to think about facts or statements related to your speech topic. So the purpose of references or attention getter is you want your audience to think about your topic. So some example is you can reference to your subject. So what is your topic? You could also make any personal references, benda yang macam merujuk kepada diri kamu sendiri. You could also talk about current events. So for example, maybe you want to talk about global warming. You could refer to any recent news that you heard about current events. You could also refer to any history. So maybe you can talk about any certain war that is related to your topic. And also you can actually refer to your audience. So for example, if you know your audience is sitting for an exam, so you can actually refer to the exam maybe because your topic is related to an exam. So that is reference. You're using any something that is actually related to your audience. Next is questions atau soalan. Okay, I think you've talked about this before. You can start your speech with a question because you want the audience to be engaged and you want them to actually respond either literally or rhetorically. Literally is meaning, for example, macam dalam kelas. When I ask you a question and I wait for your answer, I would actually choose certain people to actually answer. So that is a response that is literally responding to question that I ask. Rhetorically is when you ask a question but you don't wait for your audience to answer. So for example, maybe you can say, do you know about global warming? So that is a rhetorical question because I'm not waiting for anyone to answer. And then I will just continue with my speech. And then when you use questions, it's important that you pause when you're using it because you want the audience to either respond or you want them to think about it. So you don't just immediately continue with your speech. Maybe you can just look around, look at your audience. Okay. So that is questions. And last one that we're talking about is intriguing facts. So intriguing facts, we are looking at facts that is fascinating, astonishing, shocking, something that is interesting. So you could include statistics, you can include facts that you know. So when you're presenting, you start with, for example, 90% of adults nowadays are struggling with depression, for example. So that 90% is a fascinating number for your audience to actually listen to. Okay, so these are four examples of attention getter: humor, references, questions, and also intriguing facts. So when you are planning for your speech, I want you to actually include one of these or any of these. You can also choose other attention getters if you have any idea about any other attention getters. Okay. Next, we are going to go into introduction. Okay, the introduction of a speech. Okay, look at this pie chart. So, sorry. Okay, here. So this pie chart. Okay, so this is a pie chart of what a speech outline should include. So first you have introduction, and then you need to have your body and also your conclusion. So your introduction is roughly around 15%. And then your conclusion is going to also be around 15%. And the bulk of your speech is going to be your body. Okay, so since we said the introduction should generally only be 10 to 15% of your entire speech, that means is, for example, your speech is going to be 5 minutes. Your introduction should only be around 45 seconds. So your introduction should not be too long, your conclusion should not be too long, okay? Because the majority of your time is going to go into your body. And then next, in your introduction, we've talked about this before, you need to identify what is your specific purpose. And then you have to develop your thesis statement. Okay, so we've talked about thesis statement before in our previous class. So I hope you still remember. So I said we are going to talk more about thesis statement. So today we are going to look at thesis statement. Okay, thesis statement. First, you have to know a thesis statement is a single sentence. It's only one sentence. It's not going to be like one whole paragraph. That is not a thesis statement. Thesis statement should only be one sentence, and it is in the introduction. It must be, mesti ada in the introduction. It cannot be in any other paragraph. And it must tie together the main idea of any argument. So you have to include your main idea in your thesis statement. In context of student essays, it is a statement that one, it summarizes your topic, and two, declares your position on it. So for example, maybe your topic is prison necessary? In your thesis statement, you have to actually clarify, do you support or are you against it? Okay, so if you're talking about should students bring phones to school? In your thesis statement, you have to say, do you support, do you think they should, or do you think they shouldn't? Okay, so thesis statement, it must declare your position and it has to summarizes your topic. Well, by what I mean by this is you have to include what are the points that you're going to be talking about in your speech. So all the points must be in your thesis statement. Okay, how can you do that? For example, first, this is an example of a thesis statement for informative speech. Okay, informative speech. So the title, the thesis statement is, to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you must procure the ingredients, find a knife, and spread the condiments. So if you see here, to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, this is the topic. So they have stated what is the topic. And then you must procure the ingredients, find a knife, and spread the condiments. These are the 3 points that is going to be discussed in the speech. Okay, so we look at this again. So to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, this is the title. And then you must procure. These are the points. So the first point is ingredients. The second point is find a knife. And the third point is spread the condiments. Okay, so here, this is a good thesis statement. Then we are going to look at a thesis statement for a persuasive speech. Okay, persuasive speech adalah something yang bila kamu nak memujuk atau kamu nak memberitahu orang kenapa ini lebih baik daripada benda lain. So for example, if you look at this, it says peanut butter and jelly sandwich are the best type of sandwich because they are versatile, easy to make, and taste good. Okay, so this is a persuasive sandwich because you are trying to convince people that the type of sandwich that you choose is the best type of sandwich. So for example, in this thesis statement, the best type is peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So this is better than other sandwiches. Tuna sandwich ke chicken sandwich ke. So you're saying peanut butter and jelly sandwich is the best type of sandwich. Why? So the 3 points that you are going to discuss in this topic is versatile, easy to make and taste good. Okay. So this adalah kamu punya isi. So the three isi or the 3 points that you are going to include in your topic, in your speech, must be in your thesis statement. Okay. Now, we are going to look at body. Okay, so we have covered title, kita dah tengok attention getter, we have looked at introduction which include thesis statement. So now we are going to go into body. So body is where kamu include kamu punya isi. So the body of a speech is generally 70% of the entire time. So when you look at this pie chart, it is 70%. So if your speech is 5 minutes, your body should be around 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so 3 to 5 minutes you're going to spend on your body. So when you are going to explain all your points, it should include at least 3 main points. So depending on how long your speech is going to be, if it's around 5 minutes, you should only just include around 3 main points. If it's 10 minutes, maybe you can include 4 or 5 points. Okay, so the main point should be clearly stated with a topic sentence. So nanti kita akan look at topic sentence and signposted. Signposted is when you use transitions or pauses. So bila kamu nak move on from the main idea, the first point to the second point, or main idea 1 to main idea 2, you must use either transition or you have to use pauses. So some examples of transitions ada banyak. You can use, for example, you can say firstly, secondly, thirdly. You could also say fourthly, next, besides that, furthermore. Okay, so there's so many different transitions. You can also use, for example, finally, in conclusion. So that is how you signpost where your speech is going. So when you're talking about your first point, you can say, for example, firstly. And then when you're going into your next point, you can say, okay, next. So that is how you signpost. So that way, bila audience dengar, dia tahu you are moving on from one topic, you're going to another idea or another point. Okay. When you are delivering your speech, it is important that you always make it easy for your audience to recognize and follow key ideas. So audience mesti boleh follow kamu punya speech. Kalau dia semua kamu punya speech tu nampak macam one paragraph. So if you deliver it and you don't stop, it's difficult for your audience to actually understand because they don't know where you are right now. Okay. So when you're delivering your speech, make sure you have pauses, you use transitions, you make it clear that you're right now you're doing introduction. Okay, next you're moving on to your main points. And then lastly, you're going into conclusion. Okay, so next, we are looking at topic sentence. Macam what I said just now, in your body, just now in introduction, you must have thesis statement. And in body or in your main points, you must have topic sentence. Okay, so topic sentence is the most important sentence in a paragraph. Okay, so for example, if you're doing a speech, kan, so the first one is introduction. The second one is the main point. So main point 1, the first sentence is going to be your topic sentence. Okay, so how do you write your topic sentence? So the purpose of this topic sentence is to organize the paragraph. So it's going to actually explain to you what the paragraph is going to be about. So what you do by this is you would actually summarize any information that you have or any information that you're trying to deliver in that paragraph with one sentence. So that is the topic sentence. Okay. So topic sentence must be in every main point. So for example, if you're moving on into your second main point, so main point 2, so the first sentence here is going to be topic sentence 2. Okay, so this is topic sentence 1 and then topic sentence 2. Okay, in formal writing, the topic sentence is usually the first sentence, although it doesn't have to be. So maybe you want to start with an attention getter in that paragraph. Then topic sentence can follow the attention getter. But it's important to have the topic sentence to actually summarize so that audience know what you're going to be talking about in that paragraph. So for example, maybe you are talking about why dogs make wonderful pets. So this is your topic. Dogs make wonderful pets. And your first point is they help you live longer. So this is your topic sentence. So dogs make wonderful pets because they help you live longer. And then you will continue with your explanation and your examples for your first main point. And then your second main point could be dogs make wonderful pets because they make you happy, for example. Or maybe you can say because they help you guard your house. So that is your main point. So that is your topic sentence, and then you will follow it with your explanation. So that is one example. Then we can also look at this example. It says crime in poverty-stricken areas occur as a result of systemic discrimination. So you can see crime in poverty-stricken areas. This is the topic. And then it occurs because of systemic discrimination. This is the point. That is your point for your first paragraph. And then bila kamu masuk paragraph yang kedua, you can still use the same sentence. You can say, crime in poverty-stricken areas occurs as a result of apa? So maybe some poor management or terrible leadership in governance. Okay, so that is your topic sentence. Okay, next we are going to look at conclusion. So the last part is conclusion. So conclusion, we talked about this before this. Okay, it must be generally around 10 to 15% of your speech. So it would take around 45 seconds only. So it will not take a very long time. And then the conclusion should be somewhat shorter than the introduction because you don't usually include any attention getter. And you're not going to be introducing yourself or anything. So the conclusion should be shorter. And it serves two purposes. The first purpose is one, they summarize main ideas. So you will summarize what you have discussed. All the three main points, you will summarize it in your conclusion. And then you must give a sense of closure and completion. So you are trying to actually close this speech. So you have to actually give a sense of closure. So how do you write a conclusion? First, you must refer back to the introduction. Talk about your topic again. So you summarize what are the main ideas that you have discussed. And then you can also offer an analogy or a metaphor that help you capture the main idea. And then you have to leave the audience with either a question or a challenge or some type. This is called a call to action. So that means what do you want audience to do after you have finished your speech? So for example, maybe you talk about recycling. So in your conclusion, maybe you can say that is why it is important that we start recycling. So that is a call to action. You're telling your audience what they should do. Okay. So we have talked about today title, attention getter, introduction. In introduction, we discussed thesis statement, body. In body, we have discussed topic sentence, and lastly, conclusion. Okay. So in conclusion, in your conclusion, you must remember you must summarize and you must include a call to action. Okay. Now, as practice, I want you guys to look at page 22 in your module. So this is a speech outline. So I'm going to give you some time. You can pause this video to look for your module. Go to page 22. Okay, I hope you have found page 22. So in page 22, this is an example of a speech outline. So if you look at the topic, the title is Social Media and Me. So this is also a very good title because it is short and it also personal. Why? Because you can see there is this word me. So it makes you connect with yourself. Okay. And then this is the attention getter. In attention getter, it says, how will you begin the speech to catch the interest of your audience and what will be your hook? So for example, in this, tak, I tengah record video. Record video. Huh? Jap, tunggu jap. Okay. So if you look at this, it says, how many times did you check your smartphones today? Okay, so this is a question. So macam kita discuss tadi, attention getter, there are 4 types of attention getter. Humor, references, question, and intriguing facts. So this is a question. And then you continue that, yes, I bet that was a hard question to answer. Okay, so that means you are not actually waiting for your audience to answer. So that means this is a rhetorical question because you answered the question yourself. Okay, so that is the attention getter. And then you specify what is your purpose. So in this part, you don't have to actually include in your speech. So this one is just for your own references. So you want to inform. So when you say you want to inform, that means this is an informative speech. Okay, about how I use the social media. You want to inform your students about how you use your social media. So it's an informative speech. And then introduction. This is where you include your thesis statement. So first you can talk about, okay, I myself am an avid Facebook junkie and Twitter, but I think that is almost every person who has access to internet. Many things are better with social media and many are worse. So this is just introduction. You can include your thesis statement. So after this, okay, first let's look at the body. Okay, the first main point one. Let's see, with social media, I can share information and ideas. So this is your topic sentence. And then your main point two is I also use social media as a personal learning tool. This is also your topic sentence. So topic sentence one, topic sentence two. And then the third one is maybe the most powerful element of social media is I can interact with friends and family. Topic sentence three. Okay, so now you have identified all the three main points. So we are going to develop the thesis statement. So for example, you can say thesis statement, let me find like a space for me to write. I write here. Okay, so here this. Okay, thesis statement is going to be in your introduction, okay? Introduction. So maybe you can say social media can be used to include first main point, share information and ideas, and then include the second main point as see, where is my pen? As a sorry, personal learning tool and to interact. Okay, so here you have the thesis statement. So this thesis statement is going to be your introduction. So it could be the last sentence in your introduction. So here you're giving an overview of what your speech is going to be like. So you include the first main point, the second main point, and also the third main point. You can use you can develop your thesis statement in any ways that you find interesting. So this is an example. You can say social media can be used to share information and ideas as a personal learning tool and to interact. Okay, then only you move on to your body. So you include your topic sentence. Your first topic sentence is with social media I can share information and ideas in a variety of ways. And then you include your subpoint. In your subpoint, you can include explanation and also example. Okay, so for example, I can email a private message to one person and broadcast a video to a global audience via YouTube. So that is the first main point. So the second main point is to use it as a personal learning tool. Can get updates about friends and family, and you can learn about what's happening in your community and around the world. And the third main point is to interact with friends and family. So Twitter even allows me to interact with media members, public officials, and even celebrities. So your outline is going to be very brief. It's going to be very short. It is not the complete speech. So in your complete speech, you can include more explanation and examples. You can include more, for example, in this topic, you can include more apps that you can use. Okay. So this is an example of the body of a speech. Okay, then we are going to look at conclusion. So in conclusion, in your conclusion, you have to first summarize the points. You need to have a message that you want to deliver, and you have to include something that will make your speech memorable. So remember, summarize, call to action. This is where you're going to tell the audience what to do, and then you have to include something that is memorable. Okay, so first you can say, don't know if you're addicted to your social networks. So this is a rhetorical question. Okay, and then but for me, I share information, use it as a learning tool, and interact with friends and family. So this is how you summarize. You include all your points. And as with everything else, social media brings both good and bad things into our lives. So at the end of the day, you are the one who decides whether there's more help or harm in it. So this is what we call a call to action. Okay, so this is where you tell your audience what they should do. So you are telling your audience to decide whether it's good or bad. Okay, so you can use to make your speech memorable. You can use attention getter. Like for example, in this one, the writer used a rhetorical question. You could also include quotes, any metaphors or proverbs. So anything that you think will be interesting that you want to share with your audience. Okay, so this example is an example of a speech outline, and I hope this will help you to prepare for your PB. So if you are still watching this video, this is a surprise question. I want you to post in our official Telegram group. Write down what is your favorite food. Okay, so this is for anyone who's actually watching this video. So write down in our Telegram group, just type what is your favorite food. Maybe you can just say steak. So I'll just say just post steak in the group so that I know you actually watch this video. Okay. So anything, if you have any questions, you can always text me or call me. I think that's all for today. So before we finish, I want you to start working on your first PB in the PB that I gave you. Start working on your speech organization, and then please, mm, by this Sunday, okay? By Sunday, please send a photo of the work that you have done in your PB for me to check before we finalize everything. Okay? Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye.